Hey folks, and welcome back. It is great to have you here again as we continue on with some coverage of the Transformers Titans Return line. A little while ago I kind of started a little bit of a celebration of 20 years of Beast Wars. We will get back to that, but this kind of takes priority when I get my hands on it. And it's high time that we take a look at the Wave 2 Voyager class Astrotrain. He is one of the simplest and one of the most complicated figures for me to look at. I know, how can he be both, right? Well, stick around, I'll explain exactly what I mean in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out Machinery of Men and the Everything Factor. Look me up everywhere. I just very recently started going into some other playlists and other creative things on my channel, so have a look around at the other playlists, see what strikes a chord with you. Anyway, I said a few moments ago that this guy was one of the most simple yet complex characters to look at, and he is, largely because there's a surprising amount to discuss with this guy. Regarding his paint apps, his transformation will be easy, but we have a couple of extra modes to look at. By the way, if I didn't already say, this guy was another pickup from a local retailer. I always like to support local business when and if I can. This guy came from Downtown Comics. If you live in my area in St. John's, then you know the business probably. I always knew that they had a lot of comics inspired stuff, for DC and Marvel and whatnot. I've only kind of recently discovered them for Transformers, but look at the pickup I was able to find, and so happy that I got this guy. Okay, moving on. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to take this guy off screen for now and bring in the box. This is the packaging, and I'll take this back a little bit. This is the packaging on the back. You see the product shots and the little bio. Apparently Darkmoon gives him the ability to become cloaked. Here's the picture on the front. Now I just want to point out, his head was the same color as his body. We'll see that I did a little bit of custom work here. And when we look at the way he comes out of package, I have to say, I didn't know what to think of it. There's a lot of black and white on the main body. That really reminds me of the G1 toy. Then we see the stark purple wings with the gray body. That reminds me of the original colors for the I guess the Marvel G1 comic book years and years ago. He looked pretty much like that. So I feel like the actual coloration is an amalgam of those two influences. And I can appreciate that. They're trying to hit on a couple of different things for different fans. But it's not what I picture Astrotrain as. So we're going to take that out of it to get a better look at that mix, I suppose. Let's look at his ever exciting collector card. Because you know that this is riveting. It's fine art, but again, it uses that exact same aesthetic that I was just talking about. If you're familiar with either of those looks, then you get what they were going for. If you're not familiar with them, hey, look them up. And we have his tech specs, of course, on the back. I think that all of these are actually pretty accurate. I would have thought the Fire Blast without the help of Darkmoon would have been higher. But besides that, I feel like it's pretty accurate. It's fairly accurate. So taking that out of it, and before I bring in the full guy again, I'm going to bring in Darkmoon. Darkmoon I did some custom work on, so we'll look at that as well. I will say this, actually I'm going to bring him in robot mode. He has the exact same articulation as all of these little Titan Masters, with the arms on the ball joints and the head on a ball joint. He can bend at the hips and the knees. The hips are not pinned on this guy, and I find that that's a real detriment. He goes into the slot on Astrotrain extremely tight, and because of that, it makes his legs, or at least my legs, pop off. It makes the legs pop off, and because the legs pop off, I think that it really kind of hurts this guy in the long run. That being said, he's again a 2 or 3. I don't know if I'm ever actually going to use the character. He transforms exactly the same, where you put the arms down by his side and you bend him at the knees and the hips, and we get this. Now this was all the same color as what his face is, that kind of gray color. Let's see if I can get it in a bit closer here. It was all that gray color. I painted it purple. You know, basically I took a purple I had, I mixed it with a little bit of white, then I clear coated it. I think that that looks more accurate for my rendition of Astrotrain. In my version, he has the purple helmet. I think it's a beautiful head sculpt though. I really do. I think it's absolutely great. So taking that out of it, we're going to put it back in to the slot up top for Astrotrain, and we're going to bring him back in. And I will adjust the camera again. Okay, so now that we've got him back in here, we can talk about his paint apps a little bit more. Now, I already picked out 2 possible influences for this guy. And I have looked at the pictures of the I guess it's Transformers Legends, the Japanese version of Astrotrain that's going to come out. It has a darker gray. I understand why they did it. That one luckily has the actual purple head, which is great. It does sport down right here just below his knees some yellow and red paint apps that are present in Shuttle Mode in the original animation, not present in robot mode, so that's not quite accurate. And then I looked at his wings. This guy, the Titans Return version, had just pure purple wings. That version has mostly gray wings with a purple outline around the edge. I'm going to tell you now, neither of these color motifs is correct if you look at the original animation. And the original animation is confusing in and of itself, to be perfectly honest with you. There were 2 versions of it that generally dominated depending on who was doing the animation. Either he was presented as having a gray helmet like his body, in which case usually his wings were gray right out on the tips. They were gray in the center, and there was like a purple pinstripe, I suppose we'll call it, detailing that went the shape of the wing, kind of like the Seekers have. Then in some of the season 2, in the movie, and in most of season 3, he was presented as having a purple helmet, which I think most of us would agree is correct. And his wings were mostly purple, with the very tips up here being gray. That is my memory and my version of Astrotrain that sticks out to me. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you now. As soon as I saw the mold, I thought Astrotrain. As soon as I saw it for Sentinel, I said Astrotrain. No doubt. It looks, the body type is fantastic for it. But trying to come up with the paint apps, we have 4 very diverse possible influences, and depending on what you relate to, that will determine what you think. For me, I would have given his paint apps a mark of about 7.5. I thought they were pretty good. They certainly weren't perfect. Now, with the additions that I've made in this mode, just a couple of slight touch-ups in Shuttle Mode and a couple of slight touch-ups in his Train Mode, I'm going to give his overall paint apps now a score of about 8.75. Again, it's still not perfect, but it's pretty great. It really is. I am so impressed with this guy. Love him. Absolutely love him. So glad to finally have him in hand. Just as a couple of points of comparison here, before getting this guy, and way back in episode 3, I had a look at this guy. This was my custom deluxe class. Custom deluxe class Astrotrain. I'm going to tell you now, I love the deluxe class Astrotrain. I love the Shuttle Mode. I think the robot's great. I gave him a great score. I think I might have even called him at the time the godfather of, you know, modern triple changing toys, and they really knocked it out of the ballpark with him. Though there have been, you know, paint deco scents that I think capture the spirit of the character a little bit better. But this guy, if you have him and you've been on the fence about the Voyager class, if you're okay with this guy being smaller, he is still a fantastic figure. No doubt about it. Though I did add some paint apps on his head to make it purple still, and I colored in the windows, as you can see right there on his shoulders. This, however, is still fantastic. Here he is next to Sentinel, the other use of the same mold, but at the same time, you know, if you put the feet out 2 different ways, there you go. If you put the feet out 2 different ways, you know, keep the shoulder pieces on this guy down and put the shoulder pieces, I forgot to do that when I put the head back in, on this guy up. I feel like they each own the mold and make it unique in their own way. And I love it for both of them. Here he is. By the way, I had a look at Sentinel in full in episode 153. Here he is with his wave mate, that being the Voyager class Alphatron, who I had a look at just very recently in episode 190, and I dig this guy, but there was a lot to talk about with him as well. And just because it seems appropriate, and this is more comparisons than I ever do, just because it seems appropriate, here he is with his oftentimes kind of partner in crime, we'll say, the other Voyager class Decepticon triple changer that we currently have, that we're probably going to be getting an update of soon as well, though I still really dig this one. It is Blitzwing. I looked at him and how to deal with fixing his shoulders back in episode 157. So, for me now, on this guy, in this mode, I added the gray up on the tips of his wings as it should be in the animation model, and I painted his head purple. Besides that, this mode was pretty great. It would have been nice maybe to do his fists in that gray color, but I feel like that would probably rub off. I thought about adding the yellow and red detailing down on his shins, but because it's not there in robot mode, I decided against it. I will say this, the black and gray paint down on his shins, I think it's gray paint put on black plastic. A couple of places way down bottom near his ankle are a little bit fuzzy, so I should point that out. That being said, you might want to look through a few on the shelf, but he's, you know, he's pretty great in that regard. Articulation, we're getting an 8.75 so far. Articulation for this guy. Well, the head can go left or right with those shoulder pieces up. Of course, if you put the shoulder pieces down, the head can move more left and right. But for Astrotrain, I kind of like the shoulder pieces up. He had them on the show, and That's good enough for me for accurate. The wings do move, so you can kind of orient them however you want. The little tail fin wings, they also move, and you can do the same thing. The arms, they can go, you know, if the wings aren't there, if you put the wing all the way back, they can go all the way around. They can go way, way, way out to the side, like that. Necessary for transformation. There is a bicep swivel. There is a nice 90 well, actually a little bit deeper than 90-degree elbow bend, so I dig that. No wrist swivel, but the wrists, because of transformation, they can, you know, they can bend in like that if that's you know, useful to you. No waist because of transformation. The legs, and I'll get his arms here out of the way. The legs can go way out to the side. Though kind of like Bone Crusher, he has his, I guess, two hip sections joined together here in the center. Again, there was a fear that it would come apart. Not really. Now and again it does, but to be honest with you, it's so easy to put back together, I don't really even notice it. It might not even happen with yours. The leg goes back, it goes forward. There is a 90-degree knee bend. There is a thigh swivel. The toes tilt forward and back, not side to side, unfortunately. In shuttle mode, he's a fine shuttle. There's not much articulation to have there. In train mode, you know, he's a bit of a questionable train. I think the train is definitely his weakest mode. But I still see what they were going for. And I certainly appreciate the effort. So we're going to jump into transformation. That being said, his articulation is solid. You can do pretty much what you want with the guy. I'm giving his articulation a 9. Right now, 8.75 and a 9. I don't know, this guy is like an 8.9 right now. We will go into his shuttle mode first. Yeah, sure, we'll go into shuttle mode first, and then we'll go into train mode, and from there we'll take a look at a couple of little extra things. And I'm going to do this really quick because we already looked at it in detail with Sentinel. So the arms go, no, we're doing shuttle mode first, right? Yeah, we're doing shuttle mode. So straighten out the arms. By the way, if you don't like taking the head off, in shuttle mode you don't really have to. You can leave it there. How do we do this? Oh, wait. One other thing that I forgot. He comes with 2 blasters. He comes with this one, this purple cast one, and it's purple plastic. It's alright, it's a blaster. And he comes with this one. It's the exact same ones the Sentinel comes with, except these are cast in purple plastic. There's a hole up right here that you can put the other gun into, and you get this. Darkmoon can ride this as a weapon, I suppose. I'm not really sure. He can hold it naturally in his hands. I don't really need to show that. They can go stored in ports here on the wing. They can go stored back right here in these lower ports, or if you can fit them in the upper ports. I find that the one that looks like this, it really isn't going to be able to store in the upper section. So we'll take that out of it. Okay, now that we got his guns out of it, let's get into this. The feet fold down and you turn them toward each other just like this. And you know which way to turn it because there's a landing gear down here that you can take out. That should be on the bottom, which his whole body is going to be on the bottom. And you put those together and you flip these 2 pieces up and they will snap into place like that. You come to the top section, you take the wings and they will snap down onto the arms. There's a little tab on the arm that goes up into a little slot on the wing. And you take these 2 tabs on his leg, or panels on his leg, and you tab them up and you come over and there are landing gear in his chest that you can pull out and landing gear in his chest that you can pull out, and boom, there you go, Astrotrain in his shuttle mode. I think it's a pretty good looking, I mean, it's kind of flat, but I like the coloration of it. I did add silver here, here, and over right here in order to make the front of the shuttle look like it kind of has windows. It works for me, otherwise that was all black. Here he is with the shuttle for the Classics mold. I think that the shuttle for the Classics mold is obviously far more convincing. You know, the coloration is off for the deluxe sized version, but overall I think it's just a more shuttle-esque shape. Now we're gonna move right into train mode for this guy, which is also pretty easy. We're going to untab the wings from the arms, and they tab in pretty tight. We're going to take the arms and we're going to flip them up straight on his body. We're going to take the hands, if you didn't do it for shuttle mode, and we're going to flip them in. Like that. We're going to flip these panels out and down, and we're going to come to the back and flip those panels out and down and split the legs. When we split the legs, we split the hips, and we bring them all the way out to the side. There's a section here in the arm that goes down over a protrusion on the shin on both sides. That's how it locks in, and it looks like this now. Doesn't look real train-esque yet. We're going to push the shoulder pieces down, and we're going to actually take Darkmoon out here because we kind of have to with this mode. We're going to bring up his backpack out straight like this. We're going to turn it around so that it's on the train this way. That being said, we're going to come over here and we're going to open this up and flip out a train engine and close this back down. Now, you have a choice here. You can flip out the other train engine that's back here, or you can do what I do and just leave it looking like this because I don't like an engine on either side of my train. We're going to take this panel and fold it back. We're going to do the same on the other side and fold that panel back, and they tab in. We're going to flip down this little purple panel here and flip down this little purple panel here. That's one side done. We're going to do the same on the other side with putting those in. We're going to put in the little landing gear from the shuttle. They tab in. We're going to come to his chest and close the shuttle landing gear again. And we're going to take these and bring them down the side. They tab in. There's a hole right here in the center of his chest, and the tab that tabs this wing in. And there's the same on the back. There's a slot in here and a tab on the wing. And they tab in like that, and boom, there you go. There is our train mode. Now, in order to kind of hide the tail wings up here, I personally, though they are kind of loose on this guy compared to Sentinel, I put one of the blasters in there, I put another of the blasters over here, and it sort of, if you angle them back a bit, it sort of gives them like smokestack type of features, I guess. Oh, and we have to flip down this purple piece, and if I didn't do it on the other side here, I flip down that purple piece. Now, that being said, what did I add to this guy in this mode? All of the silver on the tires on both sides was added by me. There's little touches of silver up on the doors. Silver right here on the windows, or what I'm calling windows, that was all added by me. There is silver on the, I guess, windshield of the train mode. That was added by me, as were the gold accents on the lights at the very front. Added by me. All of that was just plain purple. But this is what we get this time for train mode. It's long. I can appreciate that. I think that that's pretty cool, to be honest with you. If you look at it, the molded in detail is pretty amazing, to be honest with you, even if the paint apps were kind of lacking and I felt a need to add some myself. That being said, just out of interest's sake, here he is with the Classics version in his bullet train mode. I get what both of them were going for, to be honest with you. I do. I kind of like the longer train of the Voyager, but you know what? This served me great. Again, if you got this figure, he's a good figure. You might want to paint in, as I did, the windows. I painted my windows in gold. But, you know, that's up to you, what you do. It's your call for whatever you like. But I like this. I do. I dig it. Now, that being said, his transformation for all these modes is super simple. I'm giving it a 10. It's easy for anybody. I personally really like it. I don't think kids would struggle with it. Maybe a couple of tabs here and there, but overall, I don't think that they'd struggle with it. I feel like Astrotrain turned out to be, overall, about a 9.5, 9.2 to 9.5, somewhere in that range. Let's say 9.25. He's pretty fantastic. The only thing I don't like is that he has a detachable head. That bugs me. And to boot, he even has a couple of extra, we'll call them bonus modes, base modes. And you can do the same thing with Sentinel Prime, actually, that I'm about to do here. This is also really quick to get into. You take the backpack piece, I guess, and normally you would turn it out, now you would turn it down on his back. Instead of turning it down on his back, put it up straight, just like that. Next, come over here and angle those tail fins out. We'll flip this up and flip this forward, and we'll do the same on the other side. We flip this purple piece up and flip this forward, and we do the same over here on the side. We're going to detach the legs, and we're going to bring those forward. We're going to open up this leg piece, and I don't know, let's put out, I mean, you could put the train sections out if you wanted, but let's put those black toe sections out. You take the arms here, and see if I can remember now how this was done. Oh, I'm sorry, you gotta put the legs out this way. And then these come out, and you open this panel back up a little bit, and you open this panel back up a little bit, and there you go, a base mode. I saw this, I think was originally at least, from Bolt Matrix, and I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool look. I don't know where he got it from, but I thought that this was a pretty cool look. You can do variations like putting the train engines out. You know, you can position the arms a little more out to the side if you're so inclined. Now, another variation I've seen has taken the whole thing and turned it on its ear, where you put them up like that, you take the arms and put them down, and you take the arms and put them down, and you have it look like this. I've seen that variation as well. And one more that I have seen, if you are so inclined, is to bend it down like that, open this up and bend it down like this. And I've seen that variation as well, though I don't think this one works that great. Anyway, there's a couple of options for you. I love the guy. I really do. I don't know if you need to replace your classics, but I kind of feel like Voyager is the right size for the triple changers, so I dig it. I thought I was going to be a lot more bothered by the detached head than what I actually am. It would be nice to do a mod so it doesn't have to become detached in train mode, but I feel like that's a lot of cutting, and maybe one day I'll do it, but I don't feel pressed to do so right now. I tend to leave it on if I put him in shuttle mode. Put this back in if it wants to go in. Put that up, and there he is back in all of his glory. Overall score, the extra modes took that 9.25 and popped it up to a 9.5. How can you not love something that is versatile enough that it can give you extra modes, and more than one extra mode at that? It really opens up the doors to creativity, folks. And isn't that what enjoying these things is all about? Being able to be creative. Yeah, 9.5. He's a great figure. I would certainly recommend him. I thank you for dropping by and giving me some of your valuable time. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.